I immediately bite the cookie. Sorry, baby. I thought I wasn't going getting all the cookies since I had your cookie, but every now and again, the temptation is too deep. I'm back. Right now. You see, I got my work clothes on. I'm somewhat spiffy. I look like the uterus, Floridian retiree. But you know, I like that. I've always liked that little old school swag. I've always got the more mature decorum. Never really ran with the crowd as far as fashion. Most of it ran with the crowd as far as fashion was Timberlands and Uptowns. And I've purchased neither in at least 20 years. But I took off my work uniform and I got on the real career uniform on because I've been invited to do some comedy at a gig tonight. But it's kind of close to where I'm at. So I feel like not. I prefer doing real actual shows as opposed to open mics. No disrespect to open mics, but if I'm able to, I prefer to get my actual real stage time in front of real audiences and not just in front of comedians that ain't even paying attention. I did that. I've already done that for years. I probably was one of the most avid, that's the word, one of the most avid frequenters of open mics. I would go faithfully. Hey, what up? I can't even pronounce y'all names is too crazy for me to pronounce, man. What up, Muiz Jahangir 4949? What up, Walking Dead? What do I think about ice? I think ice is very, very refreshing on a nice hot day. I think ice enhances your beverages when your mouth is parched and overly warm. What's up, Jake? Put a little couple ice cubes when things get a little bit hot and unbearable. You got to throw some ice in there to cool things off. Do you think your life is complete? Or can it be better? I think things can always be better. On the flip side, things can always be worse. I think we should always seek to strive to grow and improve. You know what I mean? It's all about constant elevation. Like the title of this podcast, if you saw it on the thumbnail, just because you exhale does not mean you're suffocating. You're going to breathe out and breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. We got ups and downs, peaks and valleys. Just realize whatever you let out, something's going to come back in constantly. It's just about being conscious of it. The constant pulse, the constant beat. This is the breathing out. This is the breathing in. This is the breathing out. This is the breathing in. And the same thing applies to life. So when you say, could my life be better? Life is lifing. It's just going. You know what I'm saying? It's just happening. It's not necessarily worrying about it being better. I think what's the better question is, can it be different? And absolutely. If you want your life to be different, you got to do different things. You say, you're so cool, don't worry about what other people say about you. That's one of those things that's easier said than done, you know? And the thing is, people only don't say things about people that aren't interesting, who don't resonate with them. So if people are talking about you or saying something, that means there's something about you that resonates, that compels people to want to say something. And if you're real smart with the internet, the way it is, you can monetize that. There's some people that hate watch. And the way YouTube algorithms work, as long as people are watching you, whether it's negative or positive, for negative reasons or positive reasons, you can monetize that. Now, I'm not a life antagonist, and I'm not out here just trying to intentionally stir people to make them hate watch. People gonna hate watch regardless. I mean, I could literally really stir up the pot and call names and do X, Y, Z, but that's not my style. I lay out my philosophies, my ideas, humor, and either you get something good from it or you don't. But I don't have nefarious intentions or negative reasons. I could say selfish reasons because, yeah, I like putting this out here. I like putting my ideas out there, and if I can make a couple bucks off of it, so be it. But there are still positive intentions, and I'm putting out a positive message. You said, well, man, I don't know about what I could do without you. What do you... Hey, Jake, do we know each other? But it's deep that you say that. But you don't know what you could do without me. That's something that we should all say, though. We don't know what we would be able to do without each other. Life wasn't meant to be just born and then you just completely just deal with yourself and deal with nobody else. You could be the biggest loner on the planet. At one point or another, you're still going to have to deal with somebody else, man, on one level or another. It's all the nicest streamer ever. You say I'm the nicest streamer ever. I appreciate it, man. Sub to it. I just try to be positive. Have you, hey Jake, have you watched a lot of my videos, a lot of my content? If you have, I appreciate it, because you can do anything with your time, and you chose to give it to me. So you watched other videos. What do you like about my stream? Tell me, what's nice about the stream? I like to hear specifics. Let's make sure you're not trolling. And you know what? Even if you're trolling, you're keeping the engagement going. I'm talking to somebody, so it's all good. This is the inhale portion. I'm inhaling whatever it is you're giving it to me. And when you speak, you're exhaling stuff to me. And when I speak back, I'm exhaling to you. When you listen, you're inhaling my information. You say every day I'm nice and kind. So you're saying you watch my stuff every day? If you do, I really appreciate it. And like I said, even if you're trolling and being silly, you're keeping the engagement going. So you're still helping me. But I get the vibe, like there's not a lot of people watching me right now. So I get the vibe that you're being sincere, and I truly do appreciate that. That's just the energy I want to consciously put out. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. Do I have moments in real life? Like I have my girlfriend, we've been dating, it'll be 2 years in June. Are there times when I get frustrated and upset and I might blurt out and get mad over silly things? Absolutely. I'm imperfect. I'm human. But I try to be cognizant and conscious of those moments. And I immediately, even if it's like a minute later, baby, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to lose my temper or lose my cool like that. And my girl's like that too. Not, okay, we're gonna get a little controversial now. Not a lot of women are good at showing accountability when they're wrong, but my lady is not one of those individuals. She's definitely the type. It may take some, I wouldn't say nudging, but sometimes it may take a little time for her to do it because it is completely against a woman's nature. It's completely against a woman's nature to take a fault and accountability in her actions. But she will do it. She has done it. And to me, that's just the beauty of interpersonal relationships when individuals can be a certain way and they may be offensive towards somebody else and not even realize they're doing it. But to have the awareness, like sometimes, you can't only watch what you're saying, but you have to watch how an individual is reacting to what you're saying. And you can have the greatest of intentions, or you could just be kidding, or whatever you're saying to you, it may not be that serious. But if you have empathy with how others are reacting, you can look at them like, this may not be that serious what I'm saying, but I know it's bothering them. So let me fall back a little bit. Like, I'll give you an example. I have one iPad watching this, and I appreciate it. I'll give you an example. One point, like the other day, I was talking to one of my homeboys just about I'll get a story. It's nothing crazy, but it was about basketball, and he's very, very passionate about basketball. And he was like, yeah, he does the parlays and stuff like that. He's like, my NBA parlays, it was so close to hitting. And I was like, damn, I didn't do parlays and whatever. I don't really pay attention to the NBA like that. I don't know, it doesn't interest me. What? Why it don't interest you like that? I was like, yeah, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so. Hey, what up, Simply Deep? I was like, I grew up in the 80s. What up, Simply Deep? That's one of my regulars. What's good, man? I was like, man, I grew up in the 80s and the 90s. And basketball was a little different. Like back in the 80s and 90s, like even players didn't move to other teams in the tail end of their careers. You could identify certain players with teams. When it was in their prime, you identified Sean Kemp with the Seattle Supersonics. You identified John Stockton with the Utah Jazz. You identified Reggie Miller with the Indiana Pacers. Obviously, you identified Michael Jordan with the Bulls, even though he played with the Wizards at the end. You identified Patrick Ewing with the Knicks, even though he went to Orlando Magic and the Supersonics. But for the most part, you had that identity that you could recognize with certain teams, and you don't see it. Like the greatest players in their prime nowadays is hop from team to team. Long story short, I didn't realize, he was that's a good friend. He's like 10 years younger than me. And I didn't realize how passionate he was about the sports. And a lot of younger guys, like under 36, under 40, they tend to be more LeBron fans than Jordan fans. They tend to be LeBron fans even more than Kobe fans. So there's a lot of separation and disconnect with what they think are the better eras of basketball. And I didn't put out my opinion to have a debate. I just said, just not my preference. He wanted to know why. I gave the reasons why. So he's trying to argue and debate my opinion. And I'm trying to tell this dude, like, yo, I'm not trying to debate this at all. And he was just getting frustrated because it's just a conversation that he really had. Whereas now I know this is a hot trigger button for him with basketball, and he would not be moved on his stance. And that's okay because I'm not trying to move him from his stance. So now I know moving forward, when it comes to me, I could still talk basketball, but when it comes to me showing I wouldn't say disdain, but my lack of interest in today's game, I know that's a trigger for him that's going to cause a potential shouting match or get him frustrated. So I don't express that anymore. And that's me, even though it wasn't a big deal for me saying that I don't really rock with the league. Don't really interest me. LeBron look goofy. I said a couple jokes or whatever, but I'm just like, for me. But him, these cats that say LeBron The way like some old timers see like Mike, man, they're seeing it like that. And I have to be respectful of how he feels. And if I don't want to have that hot button conversation, I just don't express my feelings like, yo, I don't really rock with the league. He started talking about, yo, my parlays, yo, I hope your parlays hit. That's it. You seem like the type of dude that'll turn wild predicaments into funny stories. I always do that, Simply Deep. That's content. Once again, thanks for answering my goofy question from a few streams ago. My example sounded unrealistic, but just making conversation. Oh, yeah, you were having a conversation. I actually remember this. You were saying if you get caught in an adult situation with your significant other, how do you react to it? You know what I mean? I remember that. That's kind of dope. You know what I mean? I appreciate you bringing that up. Yeah, man. Anytime any of you guys got a question and you want to say something, whatever, man. I'm driving, but you know, I try to look at this. I try to look at this and say something here and there or whatever. But anyway, what I was saying was like empathy. You have to have empathy towards the words that you say and how it may make others feel, even if you're not even intentionally trying to be malicious. Even like me as a stand-up comic, I'm on stage all the time. So I'll be making jokes and I'll be doing a little bit of crowd work. And I mainly do crowd work if the audience is being kind of unruly. I use crowd work as a defense mechanism, not as an offense mechanism. I usually do it if somebody, you know what I'm saying, they talking when they shouldn't be talking. So it's just my way of just calming them down. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? That's my style. That's my steez. I don't just blatantly, yo, hey, how long you been married? 1 or 2 months? Y'all be fucking like that's not my style. Or, oh, you work at IT, don't you? Psh, you be getting that computer bike booty. That's not my style. I usually will do crowd work with somebody being rude, whatever. But even if it's like somebody being rude and I'm trying to use my crowd work to calm them down, if I see my jokes are really like truly making them upset, you know what I mean? I'll just take it off of them. Now, if they're going back and forth with me, that's one thing. But sometimes you throw something out there, you can shut them down. But if I see they really like seem sad or upset, and I said a joke to them, they say you break them down, then you build them back. That's my bad. I'm just messing with you. You know, we out here, we all having fun. You break them down, and then you build them back up. And you got to do that in real life with people, man. You may say something, say a joke, say a comment. You may belittle something or minimize something that somebody really, really, really holds dear to themselves. And you didn't even realize it. Look at their facial expression. Pay attention to their body language. And then analyze, do like a mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Recollection of like the last few things you said. And then process to yourself, okay, this may have offended them. My bad. I didn't mean to minimize so-and-so and such and such, I apologize. I should have been more conscious of that. Or I didn't know you felt this way about it. We're not going to talk about that again. Like somebody could be, I'll give you an example. Somebody could be sensitive about having a bald head because they had cancer. So that's the reason why they have a bald head. And I know that that's a sensitive hot button for them. Like that's not something that's going to make them laugh. That's something like I was watching, what was I watching yesterday? Kevin Hart has a new series called Funny as Fuck on Netflix. And, they're just trying to find like the best comedian possible from groups of comics from all over the country. The winning comedian gets a Netflix special. And each round they show different skills. The last round they did, or the round before last, it was like a roasting round. And Nikki Glazer was saying the purpose of roasting is you want to make the other person embarrassed. You want to make them feel bad. She's a millionaire. That's her philosophy. I get it. But to me, that's using comedy. That's like using the dark side of the force to make people feel bad. To me, there's a way to roast in a way where you don't got to go deep. You don't got to talk about somebody's terminal illness. You don't got to talk about their parents or their criminal past or none of that stuff. You can literally use the things right in front of them or use like a goofy situation, you know what I mean, that you and them experience together, something that you guys can both laugh at. So some roasters will just take the most embarrassing thing possible to make you feel bad while making everybody else laugh. But me, I want to take something to make you laugh as well as everybody laugh. Yo, we still getting the same results, but I'm not putting shit in the game in order to get that, man. I'm not tapping on the evils. Comedy is the happy face and the smile face. I'm trying to touch on the it's a comedy and drama. I'm trying to touch on the comedy side, the fun side. You know what I'm saying? That's the side that I'm trying to touch on in order to make people appreciate my humor. I don't gotta delve into the dark. He said, "What's my job? I work for I have a hazmat. I'm a trucker. I deliver chemicals. I deliver high pressure chemicals. That's what I do." But yeah, so my approach to comedy, I'm not here to make people feel bad for them things that I say, and I'm consciously trying to make folks laugh. But just even in everyday conversation, I'm not out here just trying to put people down and just make people just randomly feel bad. And if my words did make you feel bad, and I caught myself, I'm the first to be like, I was wrong. I apologize. I shouldn't have said X, Y, Z, or I should have took you serious as far as whatever it is you were going through. I should have been a little more conscious and cognizant of the temperature of the situation when I said whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's the way I try to move. That's the way. And I'm like I said, I'm not always perfect. Absolutely not. But one thing's for sure and two things for certain, I'm always conscious and I'm working on it. I always try to be aware of like I'm driving this car, but my peripheral vision is seeing certain things. I occasionally check my rearview mirrors. I'm looking at the gauges. You know what I mean? Like when you drive your car, your brain is in tune with like probably millions and millions of bits of information at a time. You can do this. You can apply that same concept with people. I feel like a lot of times we're just on autopilot with people, and not really analyzing and assessing the interaction. I'm not saying we got to walk on eggshells and be overly concerned about hurting people's feelings. Like at the end of the day, you still got to live. At the end of the day, you still have to make the attempt and just be a human. Like we're not trying to dodge laser beams and walking over a tightrope that has a moat full of piranha and crocodile. No, we're not trying to do nothing like that. We ain't trying to do anything like that, man. All right, okay. What's the new question? Simply Deep, 1985. He asked me a new question. He said, "How would you handle this wild predicament in your younger days? You and your lady were alone, sir." You already asked me this question, Simply Deep. We did this already, man. We already did. We literally did Simply Deep. Don't tell me you're a troll, man. Because I thought you was a real fan or a real supporter, and now you just hit me with the troll. Yeah, man. You literally thanked me earlier. You thanked me for answering the question. But you literally thanked me for answering that question, and I literally remembered it, and I literally repeated it, and now you about to ask the same question again. You ain't no troll, but whatever weed you was smoking, it gave you a memory shorter than Dory from Finding Nemo, or whatever the hell her name is. Your memory is mad short. That's crazy. I know I'm getting old. I'm going on 48, and sometimes I'll be forgetting stuff. But I ain't never forget nothing that fast. Bruh, you just said it. You literally, that's another Rick James moment. You literally thanked me for talking that, answering that question about what if you and your girl got caught together in your younger days. You literally said that. That's the question that you asked. You literally said, what if you get caught? Nah, you're not being bothersome, but it's just weird because we legit had this Not only did we have this conversation last week, the first thing you did when you entered today's thread was you thanked me for last week's conversation. So either you forgot the conversation that we had last week, but you remembered that we had some type of conversation, so you're thanking me for that. So, and I could kind of give you a pass for that. So you're thanking me for a conversation that we had, but you forgot the conversation that we had. Like that's possible. I think we're gonna go with that, because if you remember the conversation we had last week, and then you thanked me for the conversation that we had last week, and then you forgot that you thanked me, and then asked me the same exact question again, bruh, whatever THC that you're taking, there's something more than THC in those drugs. Question: can a woman or your woman, can a woman or your woman go overboard wanting you physically, depending on the circumstances? Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, listen, as men, we all want to be loved. We all want to be desired. But like, say you driving your car and she all over you, trying to do the adult thing while you driving. That's gonna be the last session that you probably ever have, and you probably want to get a chance to do the session. So yes, if you're driving your car, she's being overly physical. Yes, if you're in public at like a Friendlies or a Denny's or something like that Sunday morning when people is out with their families and she's showing public displays of affection, going overboard. Yes, when it's out in the public, absolutely. If you're in a hospital bed, you know what I mean, you just fresh out the coma and then she just hop on top of you. Yes, that's too much. She should at least let you get control of your faculties first again. You was in a coma for like 6 months, and the first thing she want to do is jump your bones when you open your eyes. Yes. Yes, depending on the circumstance. Most absolutely. There's a time and there's a place for everything. You know, we all want the love. We all want the affection. We love being loved. Men love we love the attention. We love the compliments. And a lot of women don't even understand this because they're so used to receiving compliments. They're so used to getting the affirmations. And a lot of times they forget to give that. Person that's always receiving in multiple ways in their life, a lot of times they don't even understand the concept of giving back. They think they feel that the fact that they allow you to have them, that's them giving back. But sex is an equal exchange, man. Sex is definitely an equal exchange, man. But yes, absolutely, man. Yeah, hell yeah. There could be situations where she's overly affectionate. It could be a situation where she just into you way more than you into her. She could be into you way, and she all over you and stuff like that. You like, chill, that's way too much affection. Or she don't really know you like that. Women can be creepy too. Women can be perverts too. Women can be offensive too. Even though, you know, society paints it a certain way as if men were the only ones that can be perverts. We're the only ones that can be crass. We are the only ones that can be aggressive. No, the ladies, they can most definitely do that too. And a lot of us like that. But there are some men that they're married and they're faithful and devoted to their wives. And for some reason, a lot of, especially these predator type women, when they know you're married, and it's like when they know that you aren't available, it's this weird thing, but like makes them want you more. Because most women, especially if they're attractive, they have a tendency to pretty much get what they want within reason. So if they're not getting what they want from you, especially if they think they fine, especially if they think they look better than your wife or whatever reason, the fact that they feel entitled, like any man who I want should want me, and you don't give them that, in that instance, that'll make them more aggressive coming at you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so there are plenty of circumstances where your lady, a lady, or significant other could be a little bit overboard with coming at you. Absolutely, man. But I'll tell you like this. In my single days, I did not mind, unless I know she had AIDS or she was just haggard or disgusting looking. She just had to be average looking and clean. Baby, touch me. How the song by Case go? Touch me, tease me, then another nothing. Don't let go. Baby, I'm about to explode because my love it to move. Oh. You know what I mean? I like being molested, but I got my lady now, so my molestation, the receiving of the molestation is only reserved for my fiance and no one else. And I know I'm saying this extremely zesty, but at times I get very regal with the way that I speak. And in some ways, I channel Paul Mooney. This was a great conversation. I hope I touched on a little bit of the topic as far as if the just because there is an to exhale does not mean to suffocate. I hope I touched on that enough. We got a show at the senior citizens home. This place looks lit. There's a lot of cars up in here. So you know what that means, right? You know what that means, right? You know what that means, right? Bruh. That means that we have a show on our hands. This is an energy charging station parking place, so I can't go here. So I'm about to back up, because the song N-A-T-E me, the warrant to the G. Just like I thought, they was in the same spot, in need of some desperate help. Nate Dogg and the G-Town were in need of something else. One of those dames was sexy as hell. I said, ooh, I like your size. She said, my car's broke down and you seem real nice. Would you let me ride? I got a car full of girls and it's going real swell. The next stop is the East Side Motel. I'm twinking on a whole new era. G-Funk step to this, I dare ya. Funk on a whole new level. The rhythm is the bass. Woo! Chords, strings, we brings melodies. G-Funk. Well, rhythm is life, and life is rhythm. If you know like I know, you don't want to step to this. It's a G-Funk era, funked out with a gangster twist. And if you smoke like I smoke, then you're high every day. And if your ass is a buster, 2 and 3 will regulate. I just had to sing that. Yo, I always have a great time with y'all individuals. I'm glad y'all hopping in, y'all chatting and y'all talking. Hopefully I build this up to the point where y'all could just, you know what I'm saying, drop a little couple donations. Can I put anything types up in there, man? Can I, you know what I mean? Can I edit? I can't. Nothing! I can't put nothing in here, man. I was going to try to, let me see, the top messages. Let me see, all messages. Yeah, I was trying to see. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing, bro. I don't know how to do this, man. You know what? Let me try to pin one of these messages to the top. Let me see. I'm bad. Yeah, I'm doing bad right now. All right, I'm gonna pin this to the top. I pinned the message to the top, right? And can I respond to that, to the pinned message? And Simply Deep, I'm gonna add you as a moderator, yo. Yeah, I'm gonna add you as I'm Simply Deep. You always pop in, man. I'm gonna add you as a moderator. I got you. You know. I don't know how to pin anything up top. I don't know what I'm doing with this at all. I thought I could. I see the lighting. I see the stickers. What about? Ask a question. Donate. $. Mo Green 79. Let's see if that does anything. That's my Cash App. Hopefully that works. Donate. That's the Cash App in the Venmo. I'll let your boy, man. Peace. I'm out. Oh, I forgot to say, I always close with this mission statement. For all my young up and coming comedians, there is no such thing as writer's block. If the comedy guys have not given you anything new to write, that is their way of telling you to work on the things that they already gave you. Stay away from the nonsense, stay away from the negativity, stay away from drama, stay away from the rumors, stay away from the foolishness. Focus on the funny and lead with love. Life is not something that is happening in spite of you. Life is something that is an experience to behold. So enjoy this experience. Peace.